try to get out there. Grateful Dead was Grateful Dead, and they were that before social media. There's a book, it's about this thick, it's called Marketing the Grateful Dead Way. I believe that's the title, but if you look for Marketing and Grateful Dead, you'll find it. This is strictly about friends and family, and this is really about getting people involved. It's building a cult of personality. It's about really just getting one-to-one. The beautiful thing about social media is you can be as personal as you want and be impersonal at the same time, because you're not having to look anybody in the eye. But if you don't have those avenues, you're gonna have to get really, really personal and hustle really, really hard. It's not possible, it's totally possible to do, but it's just gonna take a little bit more work and a different strategy and a different way. But you're also talking a generational gap. Somebody like Brooke, who's in her 20s, is totally probably gonna feel really foreign doing the old school model offline. But somebody like you and I, who were around marketing and sharing things before the internet, know how to do this. You know? So just play to your strengths. Looked like you had a question.
Yeah, if you're lucky enough to get press, what's the rule about tweeting, read the story in the Washington Post or the Gazette or?
If they share it, you share it. And as long as you're not, hey, check out my post in Washington, check out my blog in Washington Post. If Washington Post posts something, share it, retweet it, but don't brag. Don't hashtag humble brag it. Don't be like, haha, I'm so awesome because Neil Gaiman said something about me. When Neil Gaiman said something about me, I said thank you. And then I asked him, could I share that? And he said, absolutely. And the only reason I shared it is because he gave me permission. If he didn't give me permission, you'd never hear about it unless you just saw it that day.
Even though it's totally public, once it's out there, it's tweeted, you can.
Let me ask you a question. If you said something complimentary about me, and then I just went and told everybody about it, and you heard about it later, how would you feel versus if I went, do you mind if I tell?
I think those are the rules of the game.
For some people it's just about permission. It's just about the common courtesy of respect of going, can I use your name? Neil Gaiman has a huge following. Me stating to a room full of authors that Neil Gaiman said something awesome about me is huge. That's leveraging that man's name to make me go up a little higher. There's a difference there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Just a quick comment. I think the same thing about testimonials. If somebody has something good to say about something I've done, my various presentations, books, music, whatever, I always ask if I can put their quote up or if they'd be willing to give me a quote and be identified. Some people are willing to go, like Catherine gave me a wonderful quote about Speak Your Words. She was willing to do that. I put her name. Some people are like, you can use my first name. And that's great. I'm totally willing to do whatever you are willing to let me do, but I will always ask if it's okay to share it out or if it's okay to put it up on my website or whatever.
Well, I just think that's a little different than something that's already out in the ether.
No, I will agree with you. If the Washington Post puts it out,
Right.
have at it. But if somebody like Neil Gaiman says something on a private tweet that you can only see one time unless you go back and look for it, it's like asking for the quote in the byline of your book or asking for somebody to say something kind. For example, Seth Godin might have read your book and told you it's a wonderful thing because he wanted to make you feel good, but if you're like, can I quote you on that? He might say no. You know what I mean? So like, you want to make sure that treat it no differently, something like that, treat it no differently than you would the quote on the back of your book. How much crap are you going to get if you put it out there without permission versus just the 2 seconds it's going to ask? Whereas in the Washington Post, if it's public and it's on the internet, quote the author, put that in there. You can totally do it. It's just figure out where the medium came from. Like if it's a private email and you're like, hey Mike, I really love your campaign and you're doing awesome things.
If it's different in my mind if it's one-to-one.
Yeah.
If you just offline, you contact me and say, hey, good job or whatever. That's
We're kind of on the same page on that one. So I did a really great job. I kept it to exactly an hour, but we started 15 minutes early, which gives you guys 15 minutes more time for questions if you had them.
Yeah, great. I'm sure there are lots of questions.
Yes, sir.